Welcome back to the channel. It's an okay day. It's a pretty day. It's okay. It's a little chilly and it's been raining. It was raining really hard earlier. And it's evening time, of course. Decided to take a little break by the lake here. But since it's evening time and it's a cold day and it's raining, it's time to do a project. So today we're doing part 2 on the Acura. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll try to link it somewhere. The transmission was slipping in the first one. It is so much better. We cleaned out the little screens and stuff, and definitely go check that one out if you have transmission issues with your 2002 or 2000s ish, like what is it, 2001 to 2007 Acura TL 3.2 whatever V6 blah blah blah, or really with any Honda V6 transmission of those years. This works for all of them. Anyway, so the transmission is so much better. I've been driving around a couple days. I have not done a fluid flush and fill on it yet, which I'm going to in this video. We're going to do that. But it started slipping a little bit, so we're going to pop off those screens and see if they're dirty again. That fluid was pretty dirty when we cleaned those screens on the first one. So we're going to do that. We're going to change the filter, and we're going to do a fluid fill and flush. That's what they call it. So let me go show you the symptoms of what's going on with it real quick. Take it for a quick little drive, and we'll get to work. As soon as I get back to the car, it's way up there, and I'm way over here, because lake and stuff. And suppose I should fill the time with something. And how's your day going? You start your projects at the evening? Almost there. Okay, I'm just gonna pause the camera. All right, back at the car, and it's looking good. It's really dirty. Needs a bath. It's like the more you drive it, the dirtier it gets. So let's hop in and go for a ride. All right, so when you put it in reverse, it goes into reverse. Oh, that's neutral. That's reverse. It goes into reverse pretty much immediately. Where if you remember in the last video, it took a while for it to engage in reverse. And that's D4. Okay, there we go, D5. Also in the first video, the D5, which is right here, which is drive 5th gear, was flashing, as well as the check engine light was on. And we fixed all that by taking those screens out and the little solenoid thing and cleaning them. And man, it has improved things so much better. Come on, focus. It improved stuff so much. But now in this one, we are going to do a fluid change and stuff. The fluid and filter change, like the fluid flush and change. They call it like a flush and go or something, flush and fill. We'll take whatever we can get out of the transmission out just by draining it. It's usually like 3 quarts. Put 3 quarts back in it, drive it, and then repeat it. You're supposed to drive it like 20 miles or so. Just enough to get like all the fluid like circulated through the transmission. It doesn't really take that long, but it's kind of what like a mechanic would do if you took it to a mechanic shop for one of these. And then we'll see how it acts after that. And then I'm going to take those screens off again at the very last fill and see if they're dirty again, then clean them again, of course. And then we'll see after that. This is kind of the last like do-it-yourself step that you can do before having to like replace the transmission or like take it to a shop or something, because then it starts getting really complicated. I could change those solenoids, but I think the solenoids are working just fine, so I don't think that's what the issue is. This whole time I've been talking, it hasn't slipped once. It just does it every once in a while. The fluid was pretty like gritty and dirty when I popped those solenoids off. It had some gunk in it and stuff, and I think it'll help. Because immediately after I cleaned those screens, it drove just so nice, so perfect, like how it's supposed to. So I think it's just contamination in the fluid, and if we can get as much out of there as possible. There it slipped just a little bit, going from second to third. Also, I want to make a correction. In the first video, I kept saying first to second. But no, it's second to third, not first to second. I mean, it does drive pretty dang good. I just want it to be a little bit better. And if that fluid is dirty like what I saw, it should be better anyway. Alright, so I'm going to put the phone down, get back to the barn, and we will start working on it again. Alright, so it is definitely started raining since I got back and set everything up. Got all my tools out on the table, and they're getting wet, of course. So I'm not going to go real in-depth like I did in the first video of how to take this apart and get down to the transmission. It's pretty easy, but what we're looking at is take the air box off, take the, what is this, battery out, take the battery box out, and take this off, which means you also have to take this cover off, which is real easy. There's like 15, maybe 12 bolts all together to get down into the transmission. And the reason why we're having to do this is where you check the transmission fluid, right? The drain plug is on the bottom. It's real easy to get to. It's like right on the side, which I think I might be able to shimmy under there and reach it. I don't know, we'll find out when that comes around. But we need to change the filter, which is, it's right down there. It's under this. And then to fill it, the filler hole, you see this tube right here? Goes to a bolt right there, which we can all reach this from up here. When you see this, if you have one of these on your transmission, this is a kind of a fix that Acura did back in the day when they realized that there's problems with these transmissions. And so this kind of squirts fluid directly onto a gear that's inside there that is part of the slipping thing. So this is, yours might just have a bolt right there, which means it didn't have, I can't remember what this is called. It didn't have this thing put in. But since mine does have this, I have to take that off and fill it through there. You can also fill it through the dipstick hole, but that is a pain in the butt. So I've heard that these can be somewhat of a pain, but we'll find out. I think the first time I drain it and fill it, I'll do it when all this stuff is off so we can see real clearly. And see if it is really a pain in the butt. That's pretty much it. Alright, it's running good now. So what we're looking at is the filters right here. And I believe it's just these two bolts. And then and that pops the hose off, which is right here, which is metal on mine. I read online that a bunch of them were like rubber, but mine's metal. I don't know why. Don't you love working in the rain? Alright, so how does this come off? You can't really see what I'm doing. This whole bracket goes up and over here somewhere. I don't really want to take it off, but man, that would make it a lot easier. I could probably take this bracket off as well, but if we look at the new one, it's got a screw on that side. And a screw on this side. So how are we supposed to unscrew both of those at the same time? Especially with this being a metal hose. Yeah, I think I need to take that bracket off. So now that bracket's done. All right, what I think I'm seeing here is this metal hose that comes off has been tied into this thing that they put on for when these first started filling. And then and that's a rubber hose, and then it ties into another rubber hose back here. So I think I'm gonna have to undo these hoses back here, which of course is gonna get fluid everywhere, but you know, we gotta do it. I'm gonna pop that off real quick and see what happens with that. Since we're on this, like, trying to figure out what's going on here, I guess I should throw out the disclaimer that, you know, I'm not a mechanic. I really don't know what I'm doing. I just read some stuff online. If you follow me and you try the same thing and it works for you, that's really cool. If you follow me and you do the same thing and it doesn't work for you, that's not on me. Because like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. But, you know, you don't learn unless you do. And if it does help you, that's cool. I'm glad. And this is just, you know, this is just stuff that anybody can do, really. Anybody can take parts off of the car and mess it up. You know, I don't know if this is going to work. I have my doubts, definitely. And we'll find out at the end of the video. You don't always have to win, you know. It's nice to win. It's nice to get it right. It's nice to do things that, you know, put you into the next category or whatever. But it doesn't always have to happen. In fact, it's good to fail sometimes. Yeah, it just pops right out of there. All right, these back here, this is gonna be a pain getting these off. All right, so it's actually the next day for me, and I had to go get one of these hose clamp things because there's a hose clamp back here that I just can't get to. And these are nice. I've used them a couple times. I've never owned one. But every time, man, just in like tight spots that you can't get into, it's so useful. Highly recommend. And I'm going to be blocking the camera for a second. If I can find the spot. Oh, that makes it so much easier. You know, this isn't the best one you can get. This is definitely just a cheapie. But man, it makes a world of difference. I think I spent 20 minutes last night trying to do that. And did it in just, what, under a minute? Maybe a minute? It really helps to have the right tools. Gotta figure out how this thing screws off. This part I'm not quite understanding. Okay. Yeah, filter's moving. And spilled tranny fluid all over, that's fine. All right. All right, so what we have here is the filter. And it sits in the car like that with this hose coming off of it. And I think if you don't have the little adapter thing that they put in to help these transmissions, it doesn't have this, it just has rubber hoses. At least from all the pictures I've seen online. There's two bolts right here that hold the black and the gold together. And the black is the hose, and I think it just pops out. Get to that in a second. Then there is a hose right here. This is the one that goes to the filler tube with the new adapter piece. And then there's this hose, which is the original hose to the car that came on this. And then there's this bracket right here. It's one bolt, and it holds this. And there's a little thing that's plugged into this, like a tie down for a electrical, you know, loom or whatever. And then there's another little electrical fitting that sits on there. So you got to take that, apparently you got to take all that off. Yeah, just pulls straight out. All right, so I just tried it, and yeah, you can get this off with it still in the car. But you have to loosen this bracket. I didn't even have to pull the hoses off. So, you know, we're learning together, you know? And sometimes that's how it is. Just, you don't learn unless you do. And when you do, oh yeah, and then there's two bolts holding this clamp down. So this thing definitely has to come off. This does not have to come off. This bolt needs to come out. These hoses can stay attached. You loosen this and it should just kind of pop out as long as this is moving around and not tightened down by that bolt. All right, time for changing this thing out and reassembly. So first thing I'm gonna do is put the hose back in with the hose clamps and all that. And then we'll put the filter back in. Ironically, if I would have known how to take that off, I wouldn't have needed this. That is, you know. But I needed one for a while anyway. All right, now new filter. Get your gaskets wet. Helps it to screw on and not slip. I don't know how snug is. That feels snug. All right. Now we got to put this bracket back in. Yeah, this is making sense. Everything's so tiny in here. Yeah, look at that. If you can see that hose just goes right there. Oh man, if I would have known that, that would have been so much easier. All right, so new filter. Whew. All right, so since we are right here, I am gonna pop these off real quick, see what these screens look like. And as we can see here, it is already getting clogged. Oh, playing Plinko again. All right, so let's look at this one. Gentle. Oh yeah, look at that. That's all clogged up. Okay, I'm gonna spray this one out. All right, brake cleaned and sprayed it out. And look how nice it is now. That's what it's supposed to look like. All right, so we're gonna leave this bracket loose until we put fluid in it. Then we'll tighten that up. But I'm gonna put everything else back on. And hopefully we are only gonna take it apart one more time at the very end of the flush and fill or whatever you call it. All right, finally all back together. That was a chore doing that little filter. So now we're gonna crawl under here and we gotta drain this thing from the front. Come over here to the driver's side, and the drain should be right there. That should be the drain. So I'm going to drain it out real quick. I don't have a lot of room under here. It's I don't know if my drip pan is gonna fit. We'll find out. All right, so my drain barely fits under there. I kind of had to like break the bolt and then like take it off and put it in real quick. But look how nasty this thing is. That is, I don't think this thing's been serviced in a while. You know, it gets to a point too, with any automatic transmission, when the what are they called? The little discs inside, the clutches and shit, they just wear out, you know? This is definitely a bit far gone. This is gonna be interesting to see if this works at all. This might even make it worse because the clutch material that's in there is helping it grip when it shifts and stuff. And now that I'm removing and replacing all the fluid, might make it, you know, slip actually worse. Just how automatic clutches work. We'll find out. All right, so it's time to put the new ATF in. And oh my God, it looks scraggly. Anyway, so everything that I read online is you absolutely have to use the right transmission fluid. And that there are companies out there that say that they use that it is the correct transmission fluid. It's just not. And it's kind of something that Honda engineers figured out after they built them and put them out. So it's either Honda DW1, I believe is what it's called, or Idemitsu Type H Plus right there. Apparently this is the OEM manufacturer of Honda transmission fluids. This is a little bit cheaper, not by much, but a little bit cheaper than the Honda stuff. But yeah, let's get 3 quarts in and finally go for a drive. What? There we go. All right, got through the yard and out on the, well, in the driveway. Seems to shift really good so far. Let me roll these windows up. I realize I drive around with them open and the sunroof open sometimes because it's nice, you know. Anyway, it seems to be very different already, and I've barely gotten up to speed and stuff. So maybe it just needed a good service and cleaning. You know, we'll find out. Also, I'm only going to be able to drive this for a minute or two today because I keep forgetting I have a barbecue that I'm hosting tonight. Uh, and my friends keep texting, or they just texted a second ago. I was like, "Are you ready? We're gonna do it." And I'm like, "What? For what?" And they're like, "Your barbecue." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And apparently, you know, I made the plans. So, nice shift right there. A little slippy, not too bad. Nice shift right there. I mean, it's better. It's definitely better, especially than from when I first got it. I don't think it's perfect. This is probably going to be the best it's going to get, honestly. If it gets any better than this, I'll be surprised. But, you know, we're trying, at least. Before we throw a new transmission in it, might as well try it. You can either save a little money or just spend a little extra money. That's your two big things right there, you know? Anyway, all right, I got to put this down. I don't mind driving around in the neighborhood with the phone, but not on the highway. So, see y'all tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day for me, and I've driven it around a little bit last night, and then I've driven around a little bit today, and it actually feels really nice. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of driving around experience, and its transmission's acting really shockingly good. See, it shifts nice and smooth first to second, nice and smooth second to third, and again. So I don't know, maybe this is working. Also, I have the thing open, so if you get a bunch of noise, sorry. I just like the thing open. Anyway, enjoy this little bit of driving. Alright, after that, nice. It was a really pleasant drive. It didn't slip at all that whole time. I was actually, like, kind of surprised. So we're back here, so it's time to do the second drain and fill. Should be really quick. But yeah, just like, I'm honestly shocked that it's not acting the way it did when I first started. It's so smooth. It shifts when it's supposed to. It's got a lot more speed than it used to have. Just having dirty trans fluid, is that really all it takes? Sometimes, not all the time. I know these transmissions are finicky, so like, I'm honestly surprised it's working on this one. So, we're gonna drain it and fill it again, take it for a drive tomorrow. I might not even do a third time because it was so smooth. It was so different than the other times I've driven it. So I might not even do a third one. I drove it for about 15-20 miles. You don't need to do a lot. You just need enough to get the transmission fluid like flowing through the transmission, you know? All you need to do when you're doing this, the flush and fill, run it for like 20 minutes, drive it for like 20 minutes. And I definitely did that. I did like a half an hour drive. So let's do the second one. I'll take it for another drive tomorrow. It's getting dark out. I've let it, since I got back, I've let it cool down because I don't want to work on a hot motor, you know? It's still pretty warm. I'm sure it's still pretty warm. Might still burn myself, but you know, it's fine. Then tomorrow I'll take it on another drive and we'll see what happens. Oh, it is warm. Warm. That's okay. All right, and if we look at the plug, it's still pretty nasty. Better than it was. I'm gonna go clean this up, let that drain. Oh, no. Oh, I dropped the bolt. All right, so it's drained and filled one more time. It's the second time. I'm honestly surprised at how good it's going. So maybe it was just a maintenance issue. It's surprising how important maintenance is sometimes. Anyway, all right, see you tomorrow. Drive, it seems to be doing a lot better. The sun is totally going to get in my way here, but it drives so different now. No slipping, just the shifts are smooth. Look at the amount of pollen that has been settling on this thing. It's like insane right now. So anyway, so yeah, I'm going to top it off, check everything over real quick, make sure it's fine, but I think we're done with this one. So I think I'm going to end the video here. I'm surprised it works that well, you know, this little trick. It cost me maybe, well, the fluid's kind of expensive. Maybe about $100, maybe 120, something like that. Not much, you know, not too bad. Which is way less than a transmission cost. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it for this one. Thank you for following along. If you like this kind of stuff, you know, please like, subscribe. You know, most of the time I do like older stuff, but every once in a while I like one of these new things for some reason. I think that'll be it for like working on this car video, because it doesn't need anything else. It just runs so good. It's so nice. All the fluids look great, you know, so I'm not going to worry. The suspension's great. The brakes are great. So I'm not going to do any like work left on it except for cleaning it. And let's look at that real quick. Yeah, and it's real pollen-y. I mean, there's pollen over everything. Like everything just gets covered like within hours. This is just from like I just got done driving it, you know, and pollen's crazy right now. It's not even springtime yet. It's still technically winter. Anyway, so the next video on this car, I'm thinking I'm gonna give it a good wash, give it a buff, see what we can do with some of this. That one's kind of bad right there, and get it all nice and pretty and shined up. So come back for that one. And then I also have a couple other projects in the works. Got to work on my truck. I'm currently looking for another project at the moment, like an older vehicle project. This was just kind of a fun thing to, like, you know, drive around. be like a daily driver for, like, you know, little short trips around town. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. Like I said, if you like it, give it a like, give it a subscribe. It really helps. I do have a PayPal down in the description. So if you want to donate to the channel to help me run it smoother, all the money goes straight to the cars, you know, tools, supplies, you know, all that stuff. None of that goes to me. I don't think any of that. That all goes back to making content for y'all. Anyway, so there's that if you so choose. And thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. You know, it's surprising how important maintenance is. You know, it's surprising how important maintenance. Oh my God.